I want you to draw one nice big circle. Here's my ruler. I'm going to try and keep it so we don't take too long. Don't make it too large. Let's do it at 2.5 inches. Here's one, 2.5 inches. Okay. And I kind of, that's pretty good. If I can get it this way, I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we got our two marks right here like this. We're going to go around and around and around in a circle. And when you feel ready, you're going to put your pencil down. And maybe you go around this side, and you're just going to keep your eyes watching that pencil go around until you have the circle, the shape that you want it. Okay? You notice that it's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to make it more perfect as we go. Okay, this is good enough. You probably barely see it, but that's okay. You're going to see it in a minute. We're going to start to create the shape of this. We're going to keep it down here. I'm going to put an arrow here because this is the direction our light is coming from. And I have a light over here. That won't do any good, but we're going to make it look around. But our direction is going to come right here. And so what I'm going to do if that happens is I'm going to come and it's going to create a little spot. And I kind of make very, very lightly this little spot right in here. Now I'm probably doing it a little darker so you can see it on the camera. But I don't want anything to get inside that circle. I want to stay away from it. It will a little bit later on, but at first it's going to stay there. So the first thing that you're going to do is I'm going back to my woodless graphite. Remember that? I said, hey, go to Michael's or go to Joann's or Hobby Lobby and go pick up one of these. I think they come in packs of 4. They're even, some of them are darker. This is a 4B, and then they make a 6B and a 4B, a 2B, and then just a B. So that each one, the bigger the number, the softer it is. I'm using a 4B. I like it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and sort of define this pencil drawing that we did by taking it across this side. Now remember, I told you if you're right-handed, you're going to come over here, you're going to work with your left-hand side. If you're left-handed, you would be drawing this direction. You're going to work with your right-hand side. So you have to decide that. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to come around here and about halfway through this direction opposite of this arrow that this light is shining on. I'm going to make this a little darker around this edge so it looks a little smoother. I'll stay like that. It's much easier to turn your paper than it is to try to draw the whole thing like this and make your hand do all this brain work. It's just go ahead and the hand-eye coordination, let's make it as easy on us and as enjoyable as possible. If it's not purple, if it looks a little bit oval, hey, that's no problem. Just keep going with this. Okay, so from our opposite side here that we have our light going on to, it's going to be the darkest right here. So I'm going to take my pencil, I'm going to go about halfway down around here, and when we do detailed work, I say you can get closer to the edge. I'm going to push a little harder because I want to make it nice and dark around this edge. Just like this. Now, you're going to keep in mind that whole concept that we did last time in the lessons number 2, that you are trying to create gradients, okay? So the gradients are going to go from very dark to very light. Next week, we're going to be doing a gradient chart, and that'll help you with getting better at doing these gradients and deciding, but this is more fun right now. So let's go ahead and get this edge to go right here all the way around. Just halfway, I'm saying, because that's where it's the darkest, the opposite side of this thing. If you want to keep going, you can, but you have to do this very lightly. We'll turn our paper around and work on that side a little bit. Okay, now remember how we started off with this dark edge right here. But this time, it's going to be skinnier as we go from this side to the middle. It'll get fattest. And to this side, where it's just narrow, because the light is going to a circle shape. And dark pushes away, so the farther away you are from your point of light, the darker it gets. So here's going to be our heaviest part. It's going to look like a crescent, like a moon shape. So I'm going to give myself very lightly this shape falling over here on this side, so it's a little shorter, so I don't get off on another trail and making that error by just going all the way around. You don't want to make that even all the way around because then it won't look correct. Okay, so we got to train our eyes to think a little different, look a little differently at what we're doing. So now we're going to fill in this area with our darkest part. Again, you can use your good old H2 school pencils to do the same thing. It takes a little longer because the pencil lead is not as quite as thick as this. But it's still possible to do this. It just take a little longer. I could pull out mine, which would be, let's see, if I get the same as you, I do a, there's a HB, there should be a 2B in here. Yep. Here, this is a 2B. This is what you write with. It's a little harder, but you got to stay on the side, very careful to push down. And you have to do these little strokes back and forth like this, okay? I encourage you, as we go along, to add to your collection of materials that will help make it easier for you to do certain things. Okay, so now here we are. We're going to keep going back and forth. I've got this little moon shape happening right here. I got it kind of colored in, okay? So now I'm going to do what we did before. The next step along this line here, I'm going to go up a little higher. And now it's going to be about half the darkness of this. So I'm going to rub this along this edge. Bring it along here so it smooths out. There's not a harsh line between this and this. The gradient stays soft. I'll bring this a little higher up here, but it's going to be lighter. Same here. Bring this around. Do it very light. If you can get a little kind of, continuing that edge, you get kind of a soft edge and your pencil gets a little bit lighter. Okay, now you know what the next step is. Since I know you guys were here last week and you practiced all week, right? You have some great cylinders going on. Okay, so now we're going to go and lighten it up some more. We'll bring it up a little lighter here, a little farther. And we're going to go about half this. So now you should be just skimming the surface of this ball here, like up here. This is where it comes in handy to take the magnets off of my paper and turn my paper rather than my hand. It's a lot easier when you're getting these curves because your hand naturally goes around like this. Okay, so now I have this happening on this side. Now we're going to see how we're getting closer to this where I want it to be white. I don't want it to be like this. So that means we're going to get even lighter as we go around this edge. And I'm not going to go all the way to that circle that I want it to be white because I'm going to use my tortillon to shade that all out, or my blending stump, so we can make it super smooth. Okay, so I've given myself, with this 2.5 inch circle, I've given myself around oh gosh, like a 1/2 inch of not putting anything in it. Okay, but as you can see, it's still not super smooth because it is a pencil, you know, and it doesn't get every single thing. If we wanted to go really slow, we could sit there and just really work it out into all these cracks and really go small, but we're not at that place yet. We can do it just like this. Okay, so I want you to pick up your blending stub. Find that nice black area that we've used before, or get your tortillon, same thing, look for the edge. I'm going to go along the darkest part of this edge that we started with, and we're going to blend this out. I'm pressing hard because I want to blend every inch, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch of this black part to be nice and smooth. And then we're going to keep coming around with our crescent, and as we come around each time, we're going to go a little further up. I'm going to go a little bit wider in. I'm going nice and slow so you can follow me, and that should make it easier for you. We don't need to be in any kind of hurry. This is supposed to be something relaxing. Nice way to spend an afternoon, get a cup of coffee, as long as you don't get the jitters too much so that you don't make any crooked lines. Just kidding. Get yourself a good glass of lemonade if you're in the summer. Sit outside on your back porch and draw. So we go ahead, we do this. Okay, now I'm going to continue to move up, and I'm going to continue to even this out. I'm not pushing as hard. I really want this to all blend out so it looks really smooth. I need to turn my paper. A little bit further so it stays smooth. Take your time. This is, if you want it to look good, and you got to go slow. Seems like these days everybody's in a hurry to get somewhere. Okay, now you should be losing some of the graphite on your tortillon or your blending stump, so it won't be drug into this as much. You'll be blending what pencil you have put on here, but just keep doing this. If you keep going this way in a shorter area and trying to bring it in, I find that it creates stripes. So you just want to keep it going around in this circle. Okay, so now I'm getting closer to where I've used all my graphite. I've drawn it all in here, but I don't want to put any more on here at this point in time because I want to keep heading little by little closer to that white spot, okay? But I'm still going to use that same technique where I'm coming around this edge. See, I'm getting closer together here, and the circle starts to go that way, so it probably is easier to lift this and flip your paper all the way around so you can finish this circle off up at this side. That way we can keep the circle that's coming in on that white spot nice and even. So I'm going to come around this direction. Now I noticed tortillon and erase. Basically get rid of it so it doesn't show up anymore. Okay, so we're going to keep coming around here. We're going to keep it smooth along this edge. Now pretty much that circle that may have been somewhat lopsided or not quite round or bumpy, you've probably smoothed quite a bit of it out. So you have nice even edges. Starting to look a little bit like a pool ball. Okay, so now you see the color I have here is matching the color on this side. So as it gets to here, I want to keep using my dirty stump because it has just enough graphite on it for me to draw with. I probably draw with my blending stump as much as I draw with my pencils and my erasers. I draw quite a bit with my eraser because you can erase stuff and make it look really cool, which I'll show you how that happens in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to keep going around until I absolutely have nothing left on this stump, so it doesn't put any type of gray down. See, if I go right here, it already still puts gray down. And I keep wanting to follow that circle all the way around, so I'm back out a little bit further, right around this way. I don't ever want to get into the center, so we're just going to kind of blend over what I erased over here, just to make it smooth. We'll go a little this way, a little this way. We'll turn our paper. Go a little that way. We're going to go a little bit beyond the line that I drew until we're basically white right there. Let's go back to this. So I want you to take your eraser, or kneaded eraser, and I want you to very carefully lighten up this edge right here. I'm going to flip my eraser several times and bend it and squish it so I get a clean part. But I want all this edge lightened up. The part where it would be bouncing back. Right around here. It's just going to be lighter than everything. Well, it's not only lighter, it's, we'll just do this. We'll just kind of erase it and we'll fix it. So we're just kind of erasing this edge. Okay, now our edge is lighter, but we've also kind of erased it off. So I'm going to go back to using my tortillon or my blender, and I'm going to create this edge again, so it's back to round, but it's going to be very light now. See what I did right here? I'll bring this around so it stays smooth all in here, but I'm going to bring this back out so the light can bounce off of it. Then I'm going to take my pencil, now that I have that light down there, and I'm going to use this to get this edge again along here, but I'm going to leave where I erased it and smooth it out to being a little lighter. It'll just go back to being round. You can do this in the beginning of your drawing or at the end of your drawing. If you do it in the beginning of your drawing, you're going to start away from that edge as you're blending this all out and leave this part white until the very end where you will gray it.